Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming along. Just as an update to the Port Lincoln homicide investigation that relates to Julian's story. Earlier today, police have received information from a member of the public in Port Lincoln that they had located in a scrub area what appeared to be a human skull. The remains were located in the scrub, as I said, in an area that was not in view of the public or nearby to any walking paths. And I'll show you a map shortly. It's in an area that's east of Hindmarsh Street and north of Slipway Road in Port Lincoln. This area had not previously been searched by police, and it was not an area of interest to police with the information that we had at the time. Preliminary investigations and phone calls to Forensic Science Centre has provided information that the remains are most likely human, and I believe that they are the remains of Julian's story. To confirm this, however, those remains are going to be subjected to further forensic and scientific testing over the coming days. Those remains currently remain in Port Lincoln, and we'll return those to Adelaide so that forensic testing can occur. Julian's family have been contacted today, provided an update in relation to what has been located and now what the ongoing process is for police from here. Again, they're very happy with the progress that we've made and being kept updated. They are still planning for a funeral, which I believe to be towards the end of next week, but hopefully we can give them some comfort that we've found all of the remains of Julian. Major crime detectives have been redeployed to Port Lincoln this afternoon to continue this investigation. The area in which these remains have been found is now being treated as a crime scene, and it's going to be subjected to a thorough search. We hope to start that search as early as this afternoon, and we expect that it will continue into tomorrow. Given that the area is now a crime scene, a police guard is present at that area, and I'd just ask for members of the public just to stay away from that area for the time being while we process that scene and we conduct that search. That would be much appreciated. Again, I just want to take this opportunity to thank the Port Lincoln community. As I said last time I spoke, they have been through quite a process in the last few weeks with the spotlight on their town. It's been difficult for the members of that community. But I want to thank them again for the assistance they've provided as part of this investigation, because today's development and what has been located has actually come from information by members of that community. So by them coming forward, it's helped our investigation and also helped the family. So just before I take questions, I might just show on the map what is now our area of interest in concentration weather search. So around the corner is the township of Port Lincoln. However, you'll see sort of where those three lines are is where we say the remains have been located. The marina of Port Lincoln is sort of down off the map towards the bottom, but Hindmarsh Street here, Slipway Road there, you can see it's quite a large area of scrub and bushland that is going to take a little bit of time to work through. That area does need to be searched now methodically for any other evidence that might be there apart from what we believe to be Julian's remains. So just a broader map of where that is in terms of the location. So it's in that area. And as I said, that's not an area that had previously been searched by police and wasn't in our search area.
Detective Superintendent, is it safe to say that that is an inaccessible location, and if so, how was it that person was able to find it?
Look, it's not inaccessible. It is an area, and you'll see on the map there are some walking tracks through there. My understanding is that the person who contacted us today was walking their dog in that area. It's one of those situations where the dog ran off into the scrub. The dog didn't come back immediately on being called. The person who's was walking the dog has gone in to see what's going on, and that's how those remains were discovered. They weren't on the walking track or in visible sight or vision of the walking track, so had to actually walk into that scrub area to find it.
Were they hidden at all, or were the remains buried or anything like that?
Not buried that we could see. When the police arrived, they were quite in the open, yes.
You said last update that you hadn't had a chance to speak to Tamika. Has that changed since?
No, nothing's changed.
Was anything else found with the skull?
No, not as yet. We've just identified the skull itself, which is why that area has now been locked down, so that we can conduct a more thorough search of around that area to see if there is any other evidence. But that's all we've found at this point.
Does it look like that's where the skull has been for the last few months, or is it possible that it's a recent place that it was placed?
Look, it is hard to tell, and part of the forensic investigation will be able to tell us in what condition the skull is. That might actually say how long it has been in that location. We'll work through all of those details. It is quite possible that it has been there for the amount of time this investigation is going on, but we're working through all the different scenarios as to how it's got there.
What does this mean for your investigation?
It means a lot. It means that we can finally give Julian's remains, provided it is Julian's remains, which I believe that it is, some comfort to the family, that we can get all of his remains back to them. But it also, for our investigators who have been working away tirelessly around CCTV and putting a brief of evidence together for a murder brief for the court, it helps tie it all together, that we're able to provide all the information, have all the remains recovered. So it's a significant find for us, and it's a significant way that we can close all the investigation.
And how is the person who found the remains, how are they going?
I must admit I haven't spoken to them, or I haven't had any information about the person who found the remains. Can I just say again, we thank them very much for contacting the police and pointing us in that direction. We'll clearly be taking a statement from them in due course and checking in on their welfare. As a local community member, they would be well aware of what we've been doing over there for the past few weeks. So again, thank you to that person who's made that call. It's significant for us and for the family.
How far away from the murder scene is this location?
It's some distance. So I don't know the exact distance, but
Streets away?
Suburbs away in some respects. The murder scene was on the other side of Port Lincoln. This is on the marina side, and where the murder scene is on the other side of the township. So it's some distance away.
And will you be looking, again, a search for CCTV of perhaps Tamika in that area?
Most definitely. Which is some of the reason we've redeployed major crime detectives back there today.
Do you have information about the condition of that skull?
Not that I can tell you today. It is being brought back to Adelaide and will be given to forensic science, so I won't say any more about the condition of it now.
And what about the Tshirt that was found last week? Have you got any more information from forensic?
No, we haven't. That was only submitted a week ago. We haven't got any information that's come back on the testing of that. Clearly we'll now look at what that means in terms of what we've found today as well. So we're still waiting for the results to come back from forensic science.
Is there any significance in relation to the white cross that was found at Snapper Rocks? Is that
We don't believe so. Yeah, it's not something that we're looking into.
Now you told us it would take a matter of days to go over the forensics elements of the remains. What are the limits of that? Is it a matter of days up to weeks, or is this going to be expedited because of...
Look, we hand our exhibits into Forensic Science Centre. They prioritise with all the work that the Forensic Science Centre do, with many cases that go through their doors. So they clearly know of the importance of this. They will prioritise it as they need. So as soon as we know results, we'll clearly let you know. But we'd expect a result soon.
And as for your search for other evidence, is there anything particular you're looking for, or is it just police procedure?
No, much of it is police procedure. As I believe, if that's Julian's remains, we know that Tamika is likely to have been in that location, so we don't know what other evidence may or may not be there. And as part of the investigation, the thoroughness of it means that we will search. We may find something, we may find nothing, but it's definitely something that needs to be covered off.
Can you give any indication as to when you think you might be able to speak to Tamika? She appeared in court today by video link and responded to the magistrate. Any idea when you can speak to her?
The simple answer to that is no. We'll be guided by how her treatment is playing out. And I've said previously, we will speak to Tamika at the appropriate time when we can. Tamika is obviously being represented from a legal perspective, so we need to work through all of those aspects of being able to speak to her. It's not just a matter of going out to James Nash House and speaking to her. It's definitely our intention. It's just making sure it's at the right time.
And why do you believe this is the skull of Julian's story with upward proximity?
That's the main reason. The fact that we've been looking for Julian's remains for some time. It is in Port Lincoln. It is in some ways it's hidden, if I can say that, in a scrub area. We've searched a number of scrub areas where the information was it might have been discarded. So it lines up with some of the information that we had. It just doesn't line up with the location of the information that we had. So if it's not Julian's story, then clearly we've got some other work to do. But I believe that it is. And the fact that we found a skull and human remains in Port Lincoln, given what we've been there for the last 4 weeks, would point in a strong direction that it is him.
This may have been asked previously, but in terms of speaking to Tamika, is it you can't speak to her because her mental health state is not conducive to it, or is it because her lawyer is not allowing it?
I don't want to dwell on when we're going to speak to Tamika and why we can't speak to Tamika. All I will say is, at an appropriate time in this investigation, we will make arrangements to speak with Tamika.
In the previous footage that you released of Tamika walking through the streets, and she had what looked like a very big bag, do you believe that the skull now was contained in that bag and she was on her way to disposing of it?
We won't discount that. We don't know that. We won't discount that. And that may be something that comes back into focus as a result of a search if we find a bag or similar. I can't say that definitely Julian's remains are in the bag that Tamika was carrying. It is possible, but it's not evidence that we have that we can say definitely was.
There was no bag with the skull?
Not that we've located, no.
Last question. How's Julian's family taking this news?
As I've said before, they are still working through what is a horrific event for their family, but we've maintained contact with them the whole way along, with every step of the way in the investigation. They are very comfortable with the police response. They are more than comfortable with the assistance they've received from their friends in the Port Lincoln community and other family. They're hoping that this is Julian, obviously, so that they can move on, have the funeral with all of Julian's remains. They're clearly